Hi. Hi. So, bit of a break from the vlogs. Last week I was a bit of a mess, really, I'll be honest. Well, I've been a bit of a mess up until probably today. So, I wasn't really feeling up to doing the vlog. I did one, but it was just pretty much me crying for 10 minutes, so I didn't feel that was appropriate to post. Um, but basically, I found module 2 really moving. I don't know how other people have felt this time, but it really brought up some of the past memories. There were some of the words that Trisha used in the slides that really resonated. Things like seeking perfection, self-hatred, car sick, anxiety, fatigue, low self-esteem, sabotaging relationships, having to putting aside your own self-care in order to keep other people sweet, parents, and yeah, it's just really brought up quite a lot of stuff. The main one being that basically my parents were completely dysfunctional. I kind of knew it, but I didn't really know how. And they used to, they couldn't handle their emotions. They used to get overwhelmed. I mean, the ultimate was threatening to kill themselves, not together, individually. Right, that's it, I'm killing myself. That was a frequent thing. I mean, I remember at 12, trying to talk my dad out of climbing into the loft to sort of hang himself, and bloody awful things. And my mum threatening to kill herself with tablets because basically she was just depressed all her life. But also this module reflecting on why they were like that, and feeling a lot of empathy. But then that's what I'm programmed to do, is put their feelings before mine. But that's what makes me a different person as well to them. So I understand they went through trauma. My dad's mother killed herself. She was schizophrenic, killed herself when he was 17, and she'd been abusive to him up to then. My mum's parents were killed in a fire when she was pregnant with me. So she was living through this awful grief and trauma whilst carrying a baby in a violent marriage, and then having a baby, having to do that on her own, had fallen out with her brother over their wills and the money, and just a complete cocktail of shite which basically kind of fed our childhood, my sister and I. But what this course has done is given me that safe space to cry. I've not cried as much in years as I have in the last week. And when things happen, something happened the other day. Basically, my sister had been bad-mouthing me to somebody about something which I'm not aware of what she's going on about, but anyway. And I got wind of this, and I just burst into tears. I wouldn't normally do that. I'd normally suck it in, hard exterior, and then go off and do it privately. And I just started crying. But it was real emotion, and it just literally sprung out of my eyes, and it feels like this tight, when you hurt your neck and you end up with this sort of rigid neck support. That's what it feels like I've had for years. My emotion have just been this kind of like block here, and I can witness things and see things and say things, but I don't actually feel it. It doesn't go beyond here. And I've explained to people before, it feels like I've got concrete here. Nothing goes down to my heart. I don't feel. It's all this. And it now feels, and this isn't a conscious thing, it just happened to be the other day, I thought, it feels like I've got a scarf now. So it's not this rigid thing anymore, it's a woolly scarf. It's still pretty chunky, but it's flexible, and it just felt like it had loosened a bit and something had gone, oof, and all this emotion started pouring out of my eyes. But it wasn't angry, I wasn't shouting at anyone, or, it wasn't like ugly emotion, if you know what I mean. It was just pent up frustration and sense of injustice, and just being honest about how I feel, and actually thinking, well, yeah, and that's actually all right now. I don't have to just swallow it and get on with it and shut up and absorb other people's emotions as if they're more important than mine. As long as we live in a good life, which most of us do, putting one foot in front of the other, doing the best we can, doing as well as we can by our closest family and friends. If people still feel the need to be unkind, then let them get on with it. But it doesn't change me. It doesn't change who I am as a person. That is their baggage. And it's not always that simple. I wish it was. But what I have learned this week, or I'm trying to learn, and it's the first time I've done it, is when something else has happened with my sister, which has brought back all these previous feelings of abandonment and being misrepresented and not given a voice, and just being completely, it's vile what she's doing, and I'm just sort of quietly sitting here dreading the next sniper rifle attack, but whilst I've spent days in a state of anxiety, nausea, and panic, and upset, and all the emotions that have just been coming back because I just didn't know what to do, and that's that familiar feeling for me, just that sense of, I've got so many things happening here, I just don't know what to do. I can't make a decision. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't know what to cook for dinner. I can't be bothered to I've put the washing in the machine. I cannot face getting it out and creating another job for myself. Just everything was just hard work. And this happens more often than not, to be honest with you. But especially now. So I didn't do anything in terms of decisions. I thought, okay, you don't know what to do nothing. And what I did do, and it was something that was said in the module, was I just took a moment, a couple of minutes, and I just talked about what I was feeling physically. And I thought, my stomach's churning, my stomach's flipping. Every time I think of that particular thing that's going on, my stomach's flipping. My heart rate, I was getting pains in my chest. I was in bed and my ears were rushing. I was just all these I felt like my blood was concrete and my limbs were too heavy to move. I just felt like giving up. I felt panicky. I felt like I wanted to pack the car up and just go. That running away feeling and all those feelings. And I just observed what was happening in my body rather than trying to react and go with it. I just took time to witness. And I also, that sense of what she said was look at yourself with compassion. Be compassionate to yourself. And I was, and I thought, God, you poor you. You're going through a really shit time. And these emotions are all part of that, digesting that meal that's been hanging around there for all those years. And it made me feel a bit better, and it makes me feel a bit calmer, and I now have a bit more, I was able to articulate better how I was feeling, and then think more logically about what to do next. I've actually had legal advice. Turns out I'm fine. They are out of order, and it's going to be sorted. It's going to cost me a bit, but there's bar work. But having that reassurance and actually having the guts to do something differently, and not just sort of crumble in a heap and go round there with an emotional response and do all the stuff that I'd normally do, not only is it surprising me, but I think it's going to surprise them as well. Let's hope. But I feel a bit more of a grown-up, if that makes any sense at all. I don't like being a grown-up. I hate being a grown-up. But I do feel more of a grown-up. And yeah. Anyway, there we go. There's loads more. I mean, I'm going to need a new notebook, I think, for this course. I'm just writing loads and really thinking a lot and doing the work. I think it's really important to spend time really thinking through. And if I actually watch these video logs over again, and I find it really beneficial to recap on how I was feeling and remind myself of things. So if you want to record one, you don't have to make it public, and just record them for your own record, then I really would recommend it. It's like having a diary and then some, but I record it apart from this week straight after the module, because it's all really fresh. And then when I look back even a day later, I think, oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. I'd forgotten that made me feel that. But it just reiterates that kind of process. So I'd really recommend you just recording yourself. You obviously haven't got to witter on as much as I do, but yeah. Anyway, really looking forward tomorrow to the Q&A with the group. Being part of the group, it's a bit of it feels like a top up in the week. It's a bit of feels like a warm blanket of like-minded people who are all really lovely and caring, and there's no judgment, and I'm looking forward to it. I need it again. You know, it feels like that kind of, oh, where is it? I need it. I need a top up of my lovely group, and then I can go back out and face the world again. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So I shall see you all in the next Q&A, and I'll put another video out after I've looked at module 3. Take care.